Dandelion. That did not go where I thought it was going. Okay, well, what are we talking about today? I'm definitely going to have a wet bum after this. You're so pretty. We all know that I have a problem, or maybe we don't know, but I have a problem of scrolling Facebook Reels and going to the comments. It's a lovely hobby, and it gets your blood working, and it's good for you. It's good for a laugh. And take it from me, because I'm an expert at this. If you want the juiciest comments, go to Facebook, because that's where it's at. That's where the middle-aged Karens are at. But also, I mean, sometimes I agree with them, but they're just not nice. And well, the videos themselves are very entertaining, not for the horse's sake, but for an average viewer. So if you want good entertainment, just go to Facebook Reels, find some horse-related videos, and go to the comments, because, yeah, it's fun. But today, in particular, I want to talk about, am I going to be one of those Karens in the comments? No. I'm not a comment leaver. I'm just a ghost in the corner, fly on the wall, you could say, watching the fight unfold. But a topic in particular I want to talk about that I've seen quite a lot of videos on that bother me to my core, and the comments have no idea what they are talking about. Everybody just loves to assume that the horse is having fun, that they're enjoying their job, that they're just excited. I want to talk about horses, mainly barrel racing horses, that are sour in the runway, the alleyway, the whatever you call it. There's a word for it. These horses are stressed out of their mind. Their adrenaline is going, their anxiety is ridden up the wall. You can see it all over their face. I may not be a professional barrel racer, but if there is something that I'm good at, is I like to think of myself as being good at reading horses' body language. Sometimes it blows my mind that people don't see accidents coming when it's so clear, written all over the walls. The horses have it written all over the face. Their body is just, it's all saying this is not good, this is about to go bad, and the rider, trainer, whatever, just doesn't see it happening. All those people that don't see it are in the comments of these videos of these horses acting up in the alleyway saying, that horse is just so excited to do his job, that horse is, you know, that horse is gonna have a good run, that horse is well trained, that horse loves what they're doing, blah, 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 blah. That could even be the case, but the problem is the horse doesn't know how to handle their nerves. Let's start off with saying a barrel racer, the rider, they love their job. They love barrel racing, they love their horse, they love doing what they do. But when they are in the alleyway waiting to do their run, or in the alleyway going into the arena to do their job, do their run a barrel race, they are probably crapping their pants nervous. They're probably having a mental breakdown. They probably have anxiety like crazy. Their adrenaline is running. They're just pumped with these nerves. You're not gonna see a barrel racer that's about to run that's bouncing off the walls, happy, getting excited, just having a good time. Even though they are having a good time, we are having a mental breakdown because we are nervous. We are freaking nervous. We're, having to go to the bathroom every 2 minutes and feeling like we're about to chuck up our food and not able to eat. And, nerves are real when you're about to run. I know this even though I have only run very small, very tiny shows. So as you can see where I'm getting at, if you saw your friend or somebody having a mental breakdown before they're about to do their run, you're not just gonna go say to their face, oh, you just really love your job, don't you? You're just really excited to do your job. That's not what that looks like, isn't it? I mean, horses could love barrel racing, who knows? But it's the anticipation of the adrenaline rush, the nerves. It all starts happening, you get that rush of nerves and stuff in the alleyway, and they're also getting it from their rider, because obviously the rider is up the wall terrified every single time they go to red. It's also anticipation of what is about to happen, and horses know that every single time they go in the alleyway, they're kicked to run and they have all this adrenaline. Hi, Stella. Hi, pretty girl. You're so pretty. You got bug bites? Yes, you do. Hello. You're so pretty. Oh, you are so pretty. Leave my cat alone. I'll go after her. Hi, Blaze. Blueberry. Come here. Anyways, what was I saying? Just wanted to move because I didn't want my horse trampling my cat. Horses can be really good at what they do. Doesn't mean they enjoy it. And they can even enjoy doing it, but it's also just like we have issues with. they have issues with nerves and anxiety, anticipation, and adrenaline rush. So at that particular moment, no, they're not really having fun, and no, they're not really enjoying their job. They're anticipating getting kicked, spurred, running really fast, having a lot of adrenaline, very loud crowd, lots of noises, lots of scary things happening. So many people say in the comments that like professional barrel racers, winners, champions, whatever, their horses act like this, so that can't be animal abuse and that can't be wrong. Obviously, they love their job, they're good at their job, they're just excited. That's what they say. But I stand by this, and I love saying it, that just because professionals do it doesn't make it right. Yes, you can be really good at something while doing it wrong. It's called cheating. So on kind of the same note, I want to talk about spurs and abusive equipment that people use / professionals, because the equipment is not abusive. It is the people that possess it that use it incorrectly. And I'm not going to hate on spurs. I will hate on some bits because aggressive bits are just made to be painful. But spurs, although there are some that are made to be more painful, usually in the right hands are only used for very soft aids. They're used for fine-tuning a horse that it already knows its job, so that you can use as minimum amount of effort and pressure as possible to get the correct answer from the horse. And people use this excuse all of the time when you see somebody aggressively using spurs. They say, it's just a fine-tuning tool. If you think spurs are bad for your horse, you know nothing about horses. And spurs, on their own, do not kick horses. But if you are wearing spurs, you're obviously intending on using them on your horse. You're not just putting them on your boots to look fancy. You have them on your boots to put pressure on your horse. And when you are riding crazy on a horse, kicking, starfishing, all of the above, you are not riding careful to make sure that those spurs are not touching your horse. And when I see these comments saying, they're not even touching the horse, they're not even bumping the horse, they're just using the side of their foot, you can clearly see, if you slow down the video and zoom in, that they are turning their heel in, their toe out, which is improper riding posture, I should say, and kicking their spurs directly into their horse's sides. Every single video I see of barrel racers riding with spurs, any other discipline. I'm not hating on spurs, I'm not hating on people that use spurs. My favorite horsemen will use spurs, but they're using them correctly. They're using them the way they're supposed to be used, for fine-tuning, for only using them for the smallest amount of touch. It's the people that use them like this that are clearly using them for leverage and for pain, because pain makes the horse respond. The more you use them, the duller the horse will be to that pressure, so you'll have to end up using them harder and harder and more aggressively, because the horse will stop responding to said pressure because there's no relief ever. If you are putting pressure on your horse and there's never relief, then they're gonna stop responding to that pressure. The reason pressure works is because the release of pressure is what trains the horse. If you never release pressure, they will not think that doing the correct thing is the answer, because they did not receive the reward for doing what they were supposed to do. And again, every single time I see people wearing spurs, there's comments like, professionals use them, so it has to be okay. There are so many professionals that use poor equipment poorly. If you're using a tie down on your horse, I immediately know what is up with your training. I don't have to look any further. If you're using a tie down, you're cheating. You're trying to get the results without putting in the effort. You're cheating. That is what cheating is. You're skipping all the steps to get to where you want to be. You just think your horse has a problem with rearing, so you have to strap him down. The problem lies on you, because in the right hands, that horse would not have a rearing problem. Also, I want to talk about what a horse looks like when they are excited, because it looks completely different to when a horse is nervous and freaking out like they are in the alleyway about to run barrels. An excited horse you usually see in the pasture playing around with their buddies or something. If they see something they like or whatever, they usually prance around, have a couple bucks, jump around, call hops, whatever. You can tell they're excited because they're tossing their head around, licking and chewing, snorting, whatever, getting all of their feelings out. But when there is a horse that has anxiety and nerves, their adrenaline's building up, you see it all over their body. They're so tense, they're shaking, their head is high, their ears are back, their eyes are like looking inside themselves because they're trying to escape where they are. And these riders are just yanking on their face and kicking them, giving them mixed signals. They don't even know how to ride, because God knows how they got to where they are. Like literally, some of the best barrel racers, the most professional barrel racers, the richest barrel racers, they don't even fit their saddles to their horses. Even though they have all of the money and all of the capability, they don't. Their saddles fit terribly on their horses, and they ride literally sideways on their horses. They're leaning sideways off their horse in a lot of the videos. That is terrible for the horse's growth. Also, they're training them at 2 years old, which I know a lot of people think is fine because professionals do it, and they do it in Kentucky derbies and That's how they are done. It's cheating, it's abusive, it's terrible for the horse's physical and mental growth. You have to let a horse be a baby for at least 4 years. Doesn't mean you can't train them with groundwork and desensitize them to things and let them develop. You definitely should help them develop and start working with them when they're 2 years old. Get them be respectful and have a relationship with them and be able to pick up their feet, trim their feet, be able to lunge them and have them run and develop and go over jumps and pulls and like do all the things that a horse should be able to do. But you just don't have to ride them. That is not what a 2-year-old is for. You always see these videos of like, my horse is so gaudy and undeveloped, and then look at its glow up, how pretty it is now. It's ugly and undeveloped because it's a 2-year-old. And when they have their glow up, suddenly they don't look as good as they could have been because they have weird divots in their neck and had weird muscle knots in their rear end, and they're just not as well built as they could be, as if they were just not harmed when they were in growing development. They are so fragile when they are 2 years old. You just have to let them grow up. Okay, now that I'm off my pedestal, I want to go back to the alleyway issue. Now, this was a really interesting comment that I saw on a video with somebody who was having a very explosive horse in the alleyway, and they said that their mom was the gate person where they open the gate for the horses to go through, and this person had a very explosive horse that they could not handle, that was rearing and going crazy in the alleyway, who was just excited and enjoying their job. Apparently, they ended up falling over and knocking the gate into the mom, and their mom had to be rushed to the ER and had major issues, broken ribs, and all kinds of painful things because this person had a horse that was too excited for their job. If a horse is really that excited to want to get in there and run, why are they rearing away from the gate? Why are they trying to back up? Why are you having to kick the horse forward and then pull him back because they are about to run if they're going to run? If they can't run, then they don't want to go in. So you have to kick them to go forward because otherwise they're going to be backing up. So you're kicking them forward, they think they have to run, then you pull them back. There's so many mixed signals, and I see it even in small shows where these horses are already sour to barrel racing, even though they've only had a year on it. There are ways to help your horse cope with fear and anxiety, just like there are for humans. There are meditations and things you can do, but we have to know how to help ourselves and control our nerves and anxiety before we can help our horse. And I haven't exactly figured it out yet. I don't know how to cope with my anxiety and my nerves and stuff. I definitely have a lot of that, and it's rough, but thankfully my horse is so chill and not afraid of getting whipped and kicked to death as soon as we go through the gate that she doesn't feel the tension and the anxiety that some horses do. Now, I will be honest, I struggle with getting Stella to have a lot of speed in the ring. I know she has speed because I run her very fast in other scenarios, but when it comes to being in the ring, a lot of times she doesn't have the drive to want to go faster. It's kind of frustrating because I don't want to resort to whipping and kicking and starfishing and all the things that everybody else does to try to get the horse to run faster. Maybe I need to turn up my... It's getting dark. I think the rain is coming. It's hard to figure out how to motivate a horse to run fast without hurting them for motivation. Like, how do you motivate a horse to go fast without threatening to kick them or whip them or whatever, or even kicking them, whipping them? So I have tried little things here and there just slightly to see how she would respond if I started kicking a little bit more aggressively and like actually bumping her with my heels. Because usually how I kick is I just swing my legs back and forth, but I'm not actually making contact with her. I don't slam my heels down at all. I bump her with the side of my leg. My feet never come in contact with her sides. That's how I kick. But I have attempted to kick her a little bit more aggressively when I was trying to figure out how to get her to run faster, and I thought maybe if I just start kicking her when she's not running faster, and she starts running faster, and then I release the kicking, then she'll realize that when I kick, that means run faster. But from my experience, every time I tried that, she'd actually run slower, and I think it's because when they're running and when you start kicking at their chest, you're kind of knocking the air out of their lungs and making it difficult for them to breathe and run, and she really didn't like it. So I immediately stopped to do that. So basically I haven't quite figured out the method yet, but basically I just threaten to kick and whip, but I never do. And it seems to work okay. Like, I swing my legs, like I said, and then I will like use my whip to like kind of toss it, but I'm not actually ever hitting her because she knows that the whip tossing means go forward, because I've taught her that when she's at a standstill and I swing the whip, she walks forward and that pressure releases. So it's the same way when we're running fast. If I swing the whip, then that means go faster. So it kind of works. I also need obviously a lot more practice in the arena with her. We're not used to running in deep sand. That's one thing that she doesn't like, is running in deep sand. She does do better in certain arenas than others, but I also, like, on a good year, I only run like 8 to 9 shows. So that's not a real lot for that much practice. Yeah, I'm not a professional in any way, so who am I to judge professional barrel racers or professional riders at all? But it doesn't take, I mean, maybe it does, I guess. Apparently it does. An expert to read horses' body language. So I will say it again, horses that are alley sour, that don't like going in the runway, that cannot walk through the alleyway into the barrel pattern, has nerves that need to be handled, and it looks very bad on the rider. If you cannot walk your horse in without somebody leading your horse for you, that looks very bad on you. And I don't care what kind of professional you are, whatever, how much money you make, that means nothing to me. You can be the richest person in the world and have 1 million ribbons, but if you're spurring your horse and your horse looks that bad in the alleyway, then you're cheating. I know, there's no other way to say it. It's cheating. There's no skill involved with that, other than having money. There, I said it. Well, it's starting to rain, so I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. I didn't quite finish my thought process because the rain chased me away prematurely. So here I am. It's back to being sunny. Definitely not sitting in the grass anymore because it's wet. So I just wanted to clarify that I'm not throwing any shade or hate at anybody who has done these things or believes this way or used these tools like spurs or whatever. That's definitely not what I'm trying to get at here. I just want to bring awareness, and I am blaming the mindset and the training methods that has trickled down, and the thought process that it's okay to treat horses this way and to ignore signs and to just project what we feel like they should be thinking on them to make ourselves feel better. And the fact that money has made it so that it's okay to cheat and it's okay to skip the process, the difficult part, and to just use tools to make it look like you are doing well when that's not the case. When we need things like aggressive bits, tie downs, other training aids to help our horse look better, we're just helping ourselves look better because we don't know how to train properly, so we're trying to make our horse look like they know what they're doing because we don't. So yeah, I'm just trying to bring awareness, and if you do these things, I hope you're not offended. I don't want to offend anybody. I see a lot of mean comments in those types of videos that are not helpful at all. Being a jerk to somebody is not going to help them change their ways. And I know this for a fact too, because I get mean comments and I'm definitely not thinking about the advice they're trying to give me. I'm just thinking about how rude this person is being, and I immediately want to be defensive and those kind of things. So leaving hate comments to something that you don't agree with, although I see why you would want to leave a hate comment on something like that because you see this abuse going on, but it's not what somebody is trying to do. They're not trying to be abusive. So to make judgments that they're intentionally being abusive or whatever, they're just ignorant and they weren't taught how to read body language and use proper equipment and how to use their equipment that they're using and those kind of things. So you're not going to change somebody's mind by leaving a hate comment, but you know, you can't change anybody ever. They have to want to change themselves. And that's what sucks about the horse community, is that nobody wants to change. Everybody thinks they're doing it right, and as long as they are having success, meaning that they are becoming professionals and being successful and stuff, they think that they're doing it right, which is why I hate that the fact that professionals are an example of what to do, because they are not always doing it right. And matter of fact, most of the times they are not doing it right. So not that there's a right and wrong way of doing it, there's just a very clear line of when you are doing it wrong, not intentionally. If you refuse to do your research and to learn and to take criticism, and you refuse to think that you could possibly be hurting your horse, maybe you're refusing to learn and to develop more knowledge in what you're doing, and to just assume that you know everything you need to know about the horse training thing. The more you assume that you know, the less you actually know. There's no harm in taking everybody's perspective and just looking at it and really putting yourself in that position to think about if I'm doing it the right way for my horse, for me. And I definitely don't want to come across as somebody who thinks that they know it all and it just wants to preach to everybody else because I have it all figured out. I definitely don't, and I definitely mess up a lot, and I don't have everything perfect, and I definitely do not have the money I would like to have to be able to make my horse's life as best as it could be. I'm open to a lot of new ideas, and so I do a lot of research and I read a lot of people's experiences and stuff, and I just like to put everything together. And once you have this whole, bundle of knowledge that I've collected from everything that I've read and seen and people's experiences and stuff, then you can't help but notice how these things are playing out through other people's videos and experiences, and you could just see how something could change and become better with just a little bit of tweaking. But the only thing you can do, try to just open people's minds into doing your own research and learning. Just because some professionals do it, and there are some sites that say it's okay because it's been done for a long time by these expensive companies and stuff. But money is one of the biggest reasons why horses are usually abused and ridden too young, and you need money to have horses, but in order to get money, you have to exploit your horse in order to get it. So it's easier to spend money on tack that'll tie your horse down than it is to spend the time to develop a good relationship with your horse so you don't have to use things to tie him down. I kind of feel like the people that ignore the horse's body language, signs, signals, the lights that they're blaring off when something clearly isn't right, are the kind of people that would ignore their car dash if it was lit up like a Christmas tree. The signs could be blaring in your face, your horse could be snorting and shaking and stuff, and you'd just be thinking that, oh, he's just excited to do his job. I really wish that we wouldn't presume what the horse was thinking. I wish we weren't so quick to protect ourselves from thinking that we're doing harm, because it's fine if we do harm. It's fine if we mess up. It's normal, it's human. It's just mature and grown up to admit when we do something wrong and fix it. Just because you're doing it now doesn't mean you can't change. And just because you might be training a horse right now that's 2 years old doesn't mean you can't stop. Just because you're already in it, doing it, doesn't mean you can't stop. So that's just my little TED talk. I'm just out here trying to be the voice for the horse. I don't want to pretend like I'm some amazing horse trainer or professional or anything, because literally that doesn't mean anything to me anyways, to be a professional. That just means that you make money at whatever you do. You can literally make money by exploiting horses. It doesn't mean anything to me to be a professional in the equine world. What matters to me is the results that you get and the way that your horse is treated, what they look like, how they behave, what kind of things you need for them to behave. If you need a lot of equipment to have a well-behaved horse, then that horse is being restricted. It's not the horse's choice to be well behaved. If you have to tie somebody up to be with you, then I don't really think they want to be with you. I think that pretty much covers it. Oh, and by the way, if you like what you see, I print these shirts on my Etsy shop, so you can go check that out. My link is down below, and carry on. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I post new videos every single Sunday, so go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week, Sunday. Okay, bye.